I am Protestant. Am I outside the church for being unsure of icons, according to Nicaea 2? If anyone does not salute such representations as standing for the Lord and his saints, let him be anathema. Well, here's the thing. You are outside of the church because you are Protestant. That said, I don't know the state of your soul, and we don't speculate on where people will go to after death. That is a bit of a... that is almost a form of blasphemy in my mind, because this role is for Christ. And I think there are some references to maybe the divine council as well in that. But yeah, as a Protestant, you are outside the church. You should join the church. You're saying you're unsure of icons. If anyone does not salute such representations as standing for the Lord and his saints. Yeah, I mean, do you salute a flag? Why would you not salute the martyrs that came before us? If you reject the theology of Nicaea 2, you reject the theology of the Trinity as well. So, I mean, there are some big problems. I don't know, why would you be unsure of that? Yeah, you should join the Holy Orthodox Church. On the icons issue, to qualify, Alex, I am a non-denominational. I'm not looking to defend mainline Protestantism. I agree with Orthodoxy more than them. I'm just unsure about icon veneration as a dogma. Okay, I understand a little better now. So the principle in icon veneration is that the honor given to the image passes through to the prototype. Okay, and Saint Basil and Saint Athanasius as well, they use in their defense of this the Trinity this image, this illustration of the veneration you give to the image of the emperor passes through the image of the emperor and honors the emperor himself. You're not separately honoring this image and separately honoring this emperor. You're not honoring two different things. You're honoring one thing, the emperor, when you honor his image. Likewise, when the Arians accuse Saint Athanasius of, hey, if you worship the eternal Logos, the Son, and you worship the Father, that's two persons, that's two gods you're worshiping, you're a polytheist. And Saint Athanasius and Saint Basil afterwards, likewise, in his defense of his doctrine of the Trinity, he appealed to, I think it's Colossians chapter 1, and Hebrews 1 says it with a different, slightly different terminology. The idea is there, but in Colossians 1, it expressly states that Christ is the express icon of the Father. In the Greek, the term is ikon. He is the icon of the Father. So we don't worship two gods, because when you worship Christ, the image passes through to the Father, and you're worshiping one God, because Christ is the icon, the image of the Father. So if you don't accept the theology of icons, then you don't have the doctrine of the Trinity either. You need to have the doctrine of icons to be consistent with your doctrine of the Trinity. Also, there's a problem with idolatry, because if you're just bowing down to some graven image and there's no demon on the other side of that, or the bowing that you do before that idol stops right there before the idol and it never passes on to the demon, then are you really performing idolatry if you bow down to an idol or a false god, one that represents a demon? So there's that problem there too. Like, St. Paul is very clear in 1 Corinthians. He says, like, you cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons. That's because when you go to the table of demons, you actually are participating with demons. It's because the veneration, the honor you give to the image, it passes through to the prototype. So you need the theology of icons. If you don't have it, you don't have the theology of the Trinity. And historically, at the very least, we can say that it was a disputed issue. We have St. John Chrysostom, his eulogy of St. Meletius, he talks about how St. Meletius, his image was everywhere in Constantinople and in Antioch. It was on cups, on rings, on walls, and he said to invoke St. Meletius in prayer. So we have these things like pretty early on in the historical record. Is there any merit to the argument that Christ is the natural image of the Father, but icons are artificial icons? I mean, isn't Christ's body created? It's like icons are created. So therefore, the Son being the icon of the Father isn't applicable? No, I think it is, because it's like you see in the Old Testament too, people bowing down to created things, to the Ark of the Covenant, to the temple. They bow down to the king. If you look at Genesis chapter 49 in Jacob's blessings to his children, you see that the blessing to his child Judah, I think it's 49 verse 9. Don't quote me on that. 49, verse 6, 7, 8, or 9. His blessing to Judah, he says that all of your brothers will praise you and bow down to you. So it's definitely, I don't think that's an applicable argument.